All right. My clock says it is 6 o'clock here in Mountain Time. We're going to give everybody a couple more minutes before they get started, but we are going to present our cameras now and we'll do introductions here in just a minute. Daniel. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Juan. Hey, everyone. Thanks for coming this evening.
Thank you for joining us. So it is 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll do some introductions and we'll dive into the program for today's workshop. My name is Juan Ruiz, and I am the scholarships manager for the American Indian College Fund. And I am super excited to have the opportunity to connect with all of you tonight. We are going to be covering some really helpful information about our scholarship application, and the deadline for it is coming up next Tuesday. And then I'm going to open up the floor to answer any questions or concerns you might have. And here with me, I have my colleague, Daniel. Daniel, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi there. My name is Daniel Sauvé. I am the scholarships coordinator at the College Fund, which I've done the last couple of years. So I might have interacted with some of you over the past couple of years if you've applied with us before. Like you probably know, we have a new portal this year. So we hope we can help you navigate that and get your application in by the 31st.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Daniel.
Yeah.
So the presentation of the workshop today is going to be broken up into two halves. We're going to spend about 15 minutes or so reviewing a brief PowerPoint that I have prepared for you guys today. And then we are going to open up the floor to answer any questions, any concerns, any curiosities that you have about the scholarship application itself, the disbursement process. Really, any questions are fair game at that point. Let's go ahead and share my screen and get started with that presentation. So this may be information that you are already familiar with, but I know we have some folks in the audience who are returning applicants. We have some brand new applicants. We may have parents and academic staff in the audience. So I figured that a good point to begin the conversation today would be by reviewing a couple of the key highlights about our scholarship opportunities, who's eligible, and different important criteria like that. So we'll get started with that right now. So the American Indian College Fund has been providing scholarship to students for many decades now. You can find a link to our application portal and more information about our scholarships if you go to collegefund.org/scholarships. The deadline to apply is coming up. It is May 31st. That is next Tuesday. So the deadline is coming up right now. Oh, and something that I forgot to mention when we did introductions is that if you have any questions as I am presenting today, you're welcome to drop your questions in the chat. I have one of my team members, his name is Ben, and he's fantastic. He is monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. Ben will try to answer your question in the chat real time as I'm presenting. And then later on, you'll have a chance to give us your questions here on the screen by texting us. And we'll go through that in just a second, what that looks like. But as I'm presenting, if any questions come up for you, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Ben will be monitoring those questions and he will be responding to you further in the chat. So once again, it's really important that if you are considering applying for a scholarship, that you submit your application by May 31st. Again, that is next Tuesday. And the link to go to find that application is collegefund.org/scholarships. Who is eligible for our scholarships? So in order to be eligible for a full cycle scholarship, you need to be a US citizen. You need to be a tribal member or a descendant of one. You need to be affiliated, or your parent or grandparent needs to be affiliated with a state or a federally recognized tribe. You need to have a cumulative GPA of at least 2.0. And you need to plan to be a full-time student in the fall of 2022 and in the spring of 2023. When you engage with the application experience, there will be a few things that you will need to apply. So I thought I'd give you a heads up so that you can get those things ready. The application experience is going to prompt you to provide a professional photo of yourself. When we say professional, we really are discouraging you from providing selfies or group pictures, but you don't need to be in a formal kind of attire if you don't have that. Something that you're comfortable in. So you don't need to have you need to be in suit and tie or in anything formal. Just a nice picture of yourself that you're comfortable sharing with us. That's plenty. You will also be asked to provide proof of your tribal enrollment and or your descendancy paperwork. And on the application experience, we give you the difference between tribal enrollment or descendancy, whichever of those two apply to you. And lastly, you will have to provide an unofficial copy of your transcript. If you're not sure how to obtain that, you can contact the office of the registrar at your school and they can provide that for you. When you go to collegefund.org/scholarships, you will find an application walkthrough video. That video is brief and it lasts about 5 minutes and it walks you through the application experience before you begin. I highly encourage all applicants to watch that video first before they engage with the application experience. This is going to allow you to anticipate what you are going to have to complete before you engage with the actual application experience. Within the application, there will be a few reflection questions, and that is a chance for you to share your unique story with us. And this is really a chance to set yourself aside and make yourself stand out among all the applicants that we receive every year. We encourage you to answer the questions clearly and directly. We encourage you to create a compelling narrative when you're answering those questions. And definitely be sure to use descriptive language. Be sure to use, make sure that your ideas flow and that if you have any technical conventions, make sure that those are spelled out clearly. My advice to all applicants when they write those reflection questions is that they write them in a Word document and that you then share them with a teacher or your parents or someone who can proofread them and read them over. Once again, this is really your opportunity to stand out, so you want to make sure that you provide strong reflection responses. If you're wondering, what are the reflection responses? Here they are. There's only 3 of them, and they are very simple and straightforward. And like I said before, they are your chance to stand out and tell us more about yourself. The first question is a chance for you to share what challenges you have overcome to attend college. The second question will allow you to share any educational and career goals that you have and how this scholarship is going to help you achieve them. And the last question is going to allow you to share how you plan to use your education to make an impact in your native nation or in Indian country. Each of these questions is limited to only 300 words. That's about a paragraph and a half. So they're not long English papers, and they're fairly straightforward to answer. When you begin or when you're engaging with the application experience, you will also have an opportunity to tell us more about your education history. This is a chance for you to capture your education history in chronological order. So you will begin by telling us about your high school experience and the high school that you attended. You can then move on to any colleges that you previously attended. And then you will finally disclose or share the college that you're currently attending if that applies to you. If you're a high school applicant, then you will only have to share your high school information in this section. But if you have gone to a couple of different colleges, then this section will allow you to capture the entire history of your education history, beginning with college, up until beginning from high school, up until the college that you have most recently attended. The application experience consists of 4 different forms that you must complete before you can click on the submit button. You have to complete the application, the scholarship application form, the education history, extracurriculars, and honors and distinctions. Once you have completed those 4 forms, you will notice that the step is going to indicate complete. Once those steps are completed, you will be able to click on the submit button on the top right-hand side. You might have noticed that there's a 5th step called resume that is labeled as optional. This is an opportunity for you to share your resume with us. And the College Fund also provides different career development opportunities. And so this will allow our team to consider you for different career development opportunities. This step, the resume is optional. And if you decide to not share your resume with us, it will not have an impact in your scholarship eligibility. I should also note that once you click on the application on the submit button, you cannot go back and make any edits or changes to your application. So I encourage you that before you click on that button and you make your submission, that you review everything one last time to make sure that the information that you are providing to us is accurate and correct. We often get questions from folks asking for different tips about the application experience. We get questions about how to write the reflection questions, how things should be formatted, what the difference is between the profile and the actual application. You can find all of those tips on our website. If you go to collegefund.org/scholarships, on the right-hand side, you can go to the FAQ and the application tips, and that's going to bring you to this page. And I do encourage all applicants to check out these two resources that we offer before they begin the application. That way you know how to put together a strong application package and give yourself the best chance at being awarded. The Full Circle Scholarship is available for students attending mainstream universities and TCUs, tribal colleges and universities. A mainstream college may be a community college or a four-year public or private institution. And then we also have tribal colleges. We have even more scholarship money available to those students who choose to attend a tribal college. A tribal college is an accredited institution that offers vocational bachelor's and graduate degrees. And their class offerings are infused with traditional Native American indigenous knowledge. And they have that familial support, student support that many students often enjoy. If you want to learn more about TCUs, or tribal colleges and universities, you can go to our website, and on there we list the location, and we give you a link to all of the different TCUs that we partner with. We have 35 partnerships. We also encourage you to stay connected with us by signing up for our monthly newsletter. In the scholarship newsletter, we give you all different tips. We connect you with different scholarship opportunities beyond what we offer at the College Fund. And it's just a really good way to stay connected and to be kind of in the loop with the different resources that we are offering, as well as the different resources that our partner organizations are offering. If you want to sign up for our monthly newsletter, you can go to the collegefund.org/stay-connected to sign up for the newsletter. And I think that's a great idea, so you can stay in the loop with the different offerings that we are putting together all the time. We also, of course, encourage you to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram. We are also on Facebook, and of course, we tweet. So if you want to give us a follow, that'd be great. You can look us up, and our handle is @NativePathways. And this is another really good way to continue to be in the loop and engage with us. At the end of this presentation, you will be able to complete a survey to win some prizes. Let me see if my presentation skipped a slide. Oh no, there we go. So the questions come off of this slide, no problem. So yeah, so right now, I encourage you to go to surveymonkey.com if you want to take a minute on your browser and open up that link to make sure that you complete the survey. And you can complete the survey and be considered for some swag and some different items that we're giving away. So if you want to complete that survey, that'd be great. You can go to surveymonkey.com/WQHJFYR. I'm going to leave this slide here up for a couple more seconds. That way you can open up a new tab on your browser and pull up that link to the Survey Monkey and complete the survey so you consider to win some swag and some different items that we're giving away to participants in this workshop today. Alrighty. And here comes our favorite part of this workshop, which is where we actually get to engage with you. I think I said that these questions would be submitted via text. That was my mistake there at the beginning. You can submit questions here if you go to menti.com, and you can use code 3126 9888. And this is great because then your question gets displayed to the whole audience, and we can answer the question, because if you have a question, whatever it is, I'm sure that other people in the audience also have it. So I'm going to give you all a few seconds there to go ahead and go ahead and drop in your questions on there. While we wait for folks to drop some questions on here, Daniel, why don't we go ahead and start answering some of those questions that we are getting from students this time of the year. And you know, I've been monitoring our email. So by the way, you guys, if you ever want to contact us, you're welcome to reach us at scholarships@collegefund.org. We typically respond to emails within 1 to 2 business days. So one of the emails that we have been getting this time around, and we get it all the time very often, is what kind of majors do we offer scholarships for, Daniel? And what kind of programs do we offer scholarships for?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Because we have, within the Full Circle program, we have over 100 different scholarships this past year. We're still finalizing all our scholarships for next year, but it'll be about the same. And each of those scholarships has different criteria, different majors that donors like to fund, different degree programs. So there really is something. Some of them are wide open. Some of them just say if you have a 2.0 GPA and you're enrolled, you know, in a degree or certificate program, well, there's opportunities for you. So really, you're not limited by major. We have scholarships that cover every major, that you know, like I said, cover certificate programs on up through you know, associates, bachelor's, master's, doctorate programs. So really, if you do meet kind of that base criteria of 2.0 GPA, full-time enrollment, enrollment or descendant of an enrolled tribal member, either a state or federally recognized tribe, then you're likely eligible for something, you know, whether or not that means, you know, we do have more opportunities within certain majors or certain programs, but there are opportunities for pretty much everyone if you meet that basic criteria.
That's right. That's right. So regardless of your major or your degree program, we have a scholarship for you. As you guys are thinking of questions, you can drop them in the chat if you want, or if you want to put them on Mentimeter. Everyone in the audience can see the questions on both the chat and Mentimeter. So either way works.
There was one question, Juan, that I wanted to answer because it's a pretty common question. Because we are moving to that new portal this year. Every single student needs to create a new account. Your old login is not going to work on the new platform. You have to create a new account. So when you go into, I dropped a link to that new portal in the chat. When you go there, you'll see in that right side, it'll say need an account, and you'll click the sign up button. You know, don't try to log in with your previous credentials; they won't work. You'll just need to create a new account, and then yeah, re-enter your information for this coming year, and that includes students who you know have been awarded a scholarship in the past. In order to be renewed in a program for this next year, you do need to create a new account and a new submit a new application.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for that reminder, Daniel. Yeah, the new portal is much easier to use, so we're excited about that. The new experience that we have for everybody. I want to go ahead and address Clara's question. It's in the chat, and it reads, if we are a high school student taking college classes through a concurrent enrollment program, how would we fill out the education section? That's a great question. So you would want to indicate, so if you're a concurrent enrolled student, that means that you're in high school and you're taking college classes through that program. So you would want to list both the high school that you're currently enrolled in and then the college where you're taking those classes. And you can do that on the portal. Christine is asking if we have to upload a birth certificate. And it depends, right? So the answer to that question depends if you are an enrolled tribal member or if you are a descendant of one. If you are an enrolled tribal member, you will have to upload a certificate of Indian blood or your tribal enrollment card. If you are a descendant of an enrolled tribal member, then you will have to submit a birth certificate and the tribal enrollment documentation of your parent or grandparent, right? So the birth certificate should list your parent's name and your name, of course, and then you will also need to submit your parent's tribal enrollment documentation. So we'll be looking at both of those documents for that name match, and that's how we draw the link of descendancy between the birth certificate and the tribal enrollment documentation for the parent. Ooh, Daniel, this is a great question that we get all the time. I see there's a question here on the chat about opportunities that we offer for part-time students, if we offer any, and if we also offer any resources to connect students to other scholarship opportunities out there.
Yeah, so for part-time students, within the Full Circle program, we don't currently have any opportunities for part-time students. We're looking into that. We're always looking to expand the opportunities we have, but right now we're not able to offer that. Within our TCU program, we are able to give scholarships for students at TCUs. Those are awarded by the financial aid staff and team at each tribal college. So we don't necessarily make those awarding decisions, but those are open to students in part-time. But in the Full Circle program, we don't have any opportunities for part-time students right now. And I'm just going to scroll back up in the chat a little bit to go to John Hayes' question. My high school student graduates spring 23. This is the deadline for him to apply scholarships for college fall 23. Also, what is the deadline on 5/31? So this deadline on 5/31 is for the 22-23 academic year. So if you're going to be in college in fall 22 or spring 23, that's what this application will cover. The application for 23-24 will open February 1st of 2023.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that, Daniel. So in essence, if you are a high school student, you would be applying for our scholarships the spring of your senior year. Yeah. Ooh, there's a couple of really good questions here that are popping up on Mentimeter. The first question is somebody's reporting they're having issues getting information for their references. So I want to note that for our scholarships, we do not require references. You may be thinking about the Cobell Scholarship. The Cobell Scholarship is similar to the opportunities that we offer, and they do require references. Our scholarships do not require that you submit a reference from academic staff or really anybody else. So, maybe you're thinking about the Cobell Scholarship. By the way, it's a really good opportunity if you want to look into it. I'm not sure if it's still open.
Yeah, we do get calls quite often for students that are sure they've applied with us. And then when we look into it, we ask them questions, they've applied with American Indian Services Scholarship or ACES or an American Indian Education Fund. So just make sure, maybe make yourself a spreadsheet of all the different scholarships you're applying for and your logins and the deadlines and all that if you haven't done that already. Because there are a lot of folks, different scholarship organizations that might have similar names, but offer different opportunities. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so the references is not something that we look for.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So I was just in California 2 weeks ago recruiting scholarship participants, and it's so awesome that the UC system in California has moved to offer free tuition to students that are enrolled in federal tribes. So there's a question here on Mentimeter about those students, and the person is asking or wondering, well, now that tuition is free for students that belong to a federally recognized tribe, if they can receive the money directly to them since there are no tuition costs. That's a good question. Let me give you guys some context behind the cost of college, right? So when you go to college, you have to pay for tuition. You also have to pay for campus fees. You have to pay for room and board, books and supplies, and all of those different things. So while tuition may be covered, you have all of those other expenses. So for our scholarship recipients in California that are going to a UC, your funds are always going to be given or sent to the financial aid office at your institution. And the financial aid office will use those funds to pay for any charges that are on your student account. If there are no charges left on your student account at the time that the financial aid office receives your funds, they may be able to refund this to you as cash, and you can use those to pay for living expenses. But really, it is the financial aid office at your school that determines how those funds are going to be used. We have a really good question here since we are approaching the summer and the end of our application season about how applicants are notified for scholarships. Daniel, what's our typical deadline or timeline for notifications, and how do we notify applicants if they are selected or maybe not selected?
Yes, so from now already, our reviewers are reading your applications, scoring them, and then they'll do that throughout June into July until we get all of those applications scored at least 3 times. The scores are averaged, and then we start making any awarding decisions. We try to have all those decisions made, and we have a pretty firm deadline of having that done by the end of July. So probably early August, you will have a notification whether you've gotten an award or not. In some cases, some folks that we've awarded can't accept the award for any reason. Maybe their eligibility has changed, their plans have changed. So there are a few awards that we might initially tell you, we don't have an award for you, and then later on in the semester, money opens up and we'll have an opportunity, but those are few. So everyone should have their decision by the beginning of August.
Yeah, that's right. I want to address Anthony's question, and he's asking if a copy of your tribal ID card works as proof of tribal enrollment. And yes, absolutely. So a copy of your tribal ID card, or if you have a CIB, a certificate of Indian blood, that also works. There is a really good question here from a student on Mentimeter who is transferring from a TCU. So the student is going from a tribal college to a 4-year institution, and they haven't quite decided which school they're going to attend in the fall semester. How would that person approach that? Well, when the student applies, you want to indicate the school of attendance that you're most likely going to attend in the fall semester. You know how I said at the beginning that once you submit your application, you cannot go back and make changes? If your plans change for the school that you're going to attend, you have to email us so we can update your file accordingly. And you should be mindful to do that as soon as you make the decision to attend a different school than what you put on your application. Some of our scholarships are for certain types of schools or in certain areas, right? So we have a scholarship for students attending school in New Mexico and parts of Arizona. So let's say, for example, that you applied to our scholarship and you indicated that you were going to attend ASU in Arizona, and then your plans change and you decided to move to Colorado and go to CU Boulder. If we awarded you that program and when we find out that you moved schools, you will lose your eligibility because your eligibility is based on the application information. So it's really important that you keep that file up to date by emailing us. One more time, our email address is scholarships@collegefund.org. The deadline to submit the application this year is midnight Mountain Time, May 31st. So that is next week, midnight Mountain Time. And let's take a look here through the chat. Kelly's asking if current undergraduate students are, Kelly's asking that she is a current undergraduate student, and so she's asking if we also offer funds and scholarships for doctoral programs. Yes, absolutely. We have a handful of scholarships that are open for students pursuing advanced degrees. So we do have opportunities for students who are pursuing master's degrees and doctoral degrees as well, definitely.
And Christine just wanted some clarification. And the application that is due on Tuesday is indeed for the 22-23 academic year. So fall of 22, spring of 23. It covers that whole year. And we do make full year awards. So when we make an award, when we send you your award letter beginning of August, it will include a fall amount and a spring amount. Even if you're say I'm graduating this fall, I'm not going to be able to take the spring portion. That's fine. We'll re-award that spring portion, but it is a full year. It's awarded as a full year award. All of our full circle scholarships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for that. If you are a student and you haven't received a decision from the schools that you've applied to, that's okay. You should go ahead and submit an application by the deadline and indicate the school that you are most likely to attend, right? If you don't happen to get into that school, or if you just decide to attend a different school later on, send us an email and let us know what school you're going to attend for sure in the fall semester, and we'll update your file accordingly. What is really important here is that you have to communicate with us, right? Otherwise, it would be really disheartening for us to be all excited because we get to award you a scholarship, and then we later find out that you are not eligible because your plans for the school that you're going to attend have changed from the time that you submitted an application. I wanted to go back and address a question that we got earlier here in the chat from a student asking if online universities are eligible. And the answer to that is yes. So as long as you are attending a not-for-profit accredited institution, whether it's one of those schools that offer programs in person or online, you would be eligible. So, you know, regardless of the format of the program that you're going to attend, what's important is that you are attending a school that is accredited and not-for-profit. Whether that's public or private, both of those types are eligible for our scholarships.
So that leads into the other question from Ruotazan. I hope I said that right. Is the scholarship acceptable to any school? The only schools that it can't be applied to are those for-profit schools. So if you have any questions about whether your school is a for-profit or a nonprofit, a public, tribal school, you can go to College Navigator. If you just search College Navigator, you should be able to find it and enter in your school's name. Just search College Navigator. Let me see if that's the first result here. And then it'll tell you, yeah, it should be the first one. It's from the Department of Ed, the National Center for Education Statistics. Put your name of your school in there, and one of the first lines below the name of the school will say if it's a public or if it's a private for-profit. If it says for, Ru Otis-san or Ru. Okay, thank you. Yeah, but it'll show you. So if it says for-profit, that's the only type of school we cannot, our scholarships cannot fund.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And if you are not sure how to navigate that website, if you have any other questions about your specific circumstance and your specific eligibility criteria, if you will, you can send us an email. I'm going to drop that. I'm going to drop our email address here on the chat so you all have it in writing if you want to copy it somewhere else. So the cost of inflation, oh my gosh, right? We're all feeling it. Gas is more expensive, food is more expensive, everything is more expensive. And so our awards the award amount are set by the donor, right? So those award amounts are adjusted whenever the donor tells us that to increase the award amount. And we do have a few programs that we are increasing the award amount, but we don't determine what the award amount is. We have partnerships with different organizations, corporations, and private donors who approach us and they say, we would love to fund some students. And so we create a program for them according to whatever criteria they share with us. And we then we connect the donor with the student. So we provide that bridge between the two parties, right? So we have to honor the criteria and the award amount that the owner sets forth. With that said, we have, like Daniel said, over 100 different programs, different scholarship opportunities in Full Circle, and the award amount averages somewhere between $1,500 to $7,500. And so I think on average, the award amount, I believe, is about $2,000 for the academic year. Some scholarships pay a little more, some pay a little bit less, but that's on average. But that is free money that you won't have to pay back. That gets to be applied to any charges that you have on your student account. Marcella is asking for the honors and distinctions section of the application if she can list any awards that she's gotten from jobs. The answer to that is absolutely yes, definitely. Yeah, we would love, this is another place for you to shine and really make yourself stand out and share any honors and distinctions that you have received from employment, from school, from a place of worship, if that applies to you. If you have received honors and distinctions from your tribe, you're welcome to indicate those. Any honors and distinctions that you have received, you're welcome to include those. You'll notice that there is no specific timeline for those. So you can go back, a couple of years, and please be sure to highlight as many as you have, because again, this is what's gonna set you apart and make you stand out.
Natalie asked, is this for people in Oklahoma City? Yes, absolutely. You are eligible if you're attending a school in the US, any school within the US. We don't have anything specifically that funds students in Oklahoma City, but I think we have one that focuses on students either going to school in Oklahoma or from Oklahoma tribes. So we have a lot of school scholarships that are like that. They focus on a specific region or a state or a couple of states, or a specific group of tribes or a tribe. So we have, like we keep saying 100 and some different scholarships. Donors all have their own ideas of who they want to fund. And so a lot of it is just, matching up what, donors' objectives are with your application. So even if you don't have the highest GPA or you feel like you don't have the most impressive resume, you might fit what a donor is looking to fund. So still, do your best to put your effort into that essay, because those essays, those 3 essay questions that Juan talked about, are really where you can set yourself apart and get a good score, even if you don't have the best GPA, like I said. So there are the very unique opportunities that you might just fit into. That's
right. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because yeah, our minimum criteria is 2.0 for most scholarships. So you don't need to be a track star with a 4.0 GPA. As a matter of fact, we don't have that many awarded students who have a GPA of 4.0. One question that we often get from students is, so we're talking about how we have over 100 different scholarships, right? And so a student might approach us and say, well, how do I apply to the Ford scholarship, right? Or the FedEx scholarship? And what makes us unique, I think, from other scholarship providers is that you don't have to apply to any one of those scholarships. When you submit the application, that application gathers all of the information we need to know about you. And if you are a selected recipient, we're going to look at that information, at your profile, and all of the information that you provided about who you are. And then we'll look at our portfolio scholarships, and we're going to match you up with the best award that fits who you are. So unlike other scholarships that make you apply for individual awards individually, you just submit one application, and with that one application, you'll be considered for over 100 different scholarships. So I think that's pretty neat. Rue, you're asking a good question. If we have scholarships available for schools that are international. Not exactly. So you would be eligible to receive our scholarship funding if you study abroad. So if you are going to, say, a 4-year school in Arizona, for example, at ASU, and you decide to do an abroad experience through ASU and you go to Japan, you would be eligible to receive a scholarship funds for that experience. If, on the other hand, you decide to apply for a scholarship and you decide to go to school in Japan, and that school has not affiliation with an accredited, not-for-profit, US-based institution, you would not be eligible for our scholarship fund. So you would be eligible if you're studying abroad. You wouldn't be eligible if you're going to study abroad at a school that is not affiliated through a study abroad program at a US-based institution. So good question, good question. These are all great questions, you guys. Keep them coming. You're asking all the right questions. I appreciate it. Let me scroll up and down the chat. Let's see what else I see.
There's a question here. Are there nursing school nursing scholarships for state recognized tribes? Are there Alabama scholarships? So first, to answer state, so if you're a member or a descendant of a member of a state recognized tribe, you've met that requirement, right? So then you'd be eligible for any of the scholarships that are offered. Nursing school in particular, nursing or scholarships for students who are studying nursing, that's one of the fields that there are a larger number. So like STEM, healthcare are two of the big ones that we have a lot of interest in folks. Are there specifically Alabama scholarships? I don't know. One doesn't come to mind right off the top of my head. So there might not be specific ones, but you'd be eligible for any of the ones that have a focus on nursing or in healthcare. You'd be eligible for those as a member of a state recognized tribe or a descendant of a state recognized enrolled member.
Yeah, that's right. Like Daniel said earlier, we have a scholarship for you, regardless of your major and your degree type. So as long as you meet the basic criteria, we have a scholarship that matches the major that you're pursuing and the degree type that you're pursuing. Kelly's asking how many students are awarded each year. That's a great question. So each year we award, I think this year we awarded over 3,500 students. We dispersed 10.5, well over $10 million in scholarship funds. So our scholarships are competitive. So what that means is that we get more applicants that we have funding for, right? So that's why it's really, really important that you take the time to develop a really strong application package before you submit it. Make sure that those essay responses have been proofread, that you are highlighting all of your education experience, all of your extracurricular experiences, and all of your honors and distinctions. Your application is going to be scored and reviewed by a team of folks who have, by a team of higher ed folks who are not affiliated with the college fund. Those folks review your scholarship application and they score it, right? And so that's where you get to really stand out when you develop those really strong reflection questions. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for thoughtful responses that are descriptive, that are addressing the prompt. You always want to address the prompt at hand, that are interweaving your own personal journey, what your goals are with higher education, and how you want to give back to Indian country. So be sure to develop a really strong application package to have a strong opportunity to be awarded. I'm not seeing any new questions. Let's take a look.
Oh, here's the new one from Rue. Is there limitations to just a primary school, or can it be split between two institutions as to availability for programs offered, i.e. ASU and Caltech? We can just send your scholarship to one school. So usually that's, if you're taking a majority of your courses at one school, that's the school that we're going to send your scholarship funds to. We can't split it up.
That's a good question. So what does that mean when the student completes the application, Daniel?
So list the institution that you're taking the majority of your classes at. So if like I'm going to take the bulk of my classes at ASU, but maybe I'll take a couple classes at another nearby school. List the one where you're taking more of the classes, and let us know. So when you submit your schedule, so when we verify your full-time enrollment. So after we make an offer of a scholarship, we need to verify that you're actually enrolled full-time. We'll ask, hey, can you submit your schedule? You can submit a schedule from each of those schools. So we show up. So as long as the credits on both of those combined, add up to a full-time, for an undergraduate program, that's usually 12 credits. Then you will meet that requirement of full-time enrollment. But just make sure you submit both the schedules so we have them when we're doing that verification.
Right. So the devil's in the details, you guys. You want to make sure that, again, you're communicating actively with us via email. We respond to emails within 1 to 2 business days. And as long as you're communicating with us, we'll work with you. And we're always advocating on your behalf. I think that's something that makes our scholarship opportunities, Daniel, a little different are that we offer coaching components and that our awards come with other services to provide support as you engage with the college experience. Can you tell us a little bit about what a coaching component or what those additional components are with our awards?
Sure. Yeah. So some of the scholarships carry with them different levels of coaching. So we have some that are considered light coaching, or some that have intensive coaching. And so you'll be paired up with one of our coaches if you're in one of those programs that have coaching components. And not all of them do, but a good number of them do have those components. And so you have access to a coach if you have any questions or issues, things that you're working through. There might be some requirements that the donor has asked of completing certain surveys or a journal entry, things like those. I'm not as familiar with all the different program components, but your coach will be able to kind of guide you through whatever is required and whatever questions you might have or things you might need extra support with.
That's right. So in essence, we are providing students with funds, but we're also providing you with a coach, somebody who is very well trained in the experience of students in an undergraduate program, and they can provide you with support, with studying techniques, studying skills. They will develop programming for you to engage in career development and different opportunities like that, right? So it's really unique because in addition to getting money, you're also getting to develop a really good relationship with someone that can help you throughout the following academic year. Carrie, that's a good question. There are no age cutoffs. So age does not matter. That's a great question. Good question.
There are two questions here that I think we can group up. How do you know what scholarships you're matched to avoid applying separately? And then the other question here is it possible to be awarded more than one scholarship simultaneous? So within the Full Circle program, as Juan mentioned, you're only going to apply once, right? So you don't have to worry about applying for scholarships individually. You apply once. If you're at a TCU, you'll also be considered for TCU scholarship just through that one same application. So you don't have to think about applying more than once. You'll know which scholarship you're matched up to when you get that award letter. So beginning of August, end of July, beginning of August, like we said, we'll send out those award letters, and that'll let you know. We generally try to only award students one Full Circle award. If you're at a TCU, you might get a TCU award and a Full Circle award, but you'll usually only get, the only times we would make an exception is if we have a very difficult program that has a lot of restrictions and there's only, the only students that fit the criteria, because it's like layers and layers of criteria. The only ones that fit are somebody that have already been awarded another scholarship. There are like maybe one or two such cases a year in the past couple of years that I've been here, where we'll have to award more than one Full Circle scholarship to a student, but that's rare. We really try to stick to just one Full Circle scholarship per student, just so we can award as many students as we can, right? That's what we really want to do. So yeah, it should just be one scholarship. You shouldn't get more than one unless you're exceptional in some important way.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. So, when it comes to the scholarship game, my advice to all students is apply for hours and then apply for another 10, right? Because all scholarships are competitive and the scholarship funds that you get can be stacked, right? So let's say that you get financial aid and you get the Pell Grant, and then you get wonderful scholarships, and then you also get a scholarship from ACES and Cobell. All of the money, you can stack it, and that is how you go to school for free without getting loans, right? One scholarship, it is very unlikely that you will secure one scholarship that will give you a full ride. Those do exist, of course they do. They're very, very competitive. So statistically speaking, the odds of you getting one scholarship that is worth 50,000 is a lot. The odds of you getting that scholarship is a lot lower than you getting a couple scholarships that are worth 2,000, 3,000 a piece, right? So definitely, I encourage you all to go and explore other scholarship opportunities out there beyond the ones that we offer. But of course, be sure to apply for our opportunities. Nicole is asking if there's a website where scholarships are listed for Native Americans that are going to for-profit universities or colleges. So on our website, if you go to collegefund.org/scholarships, on the right pane, there's going to be a section there that is called other scholarship or other resources, something like that. You can go in there and we can link you to different scholarship providers and other opportunities. Every scholarship provider out there has different criteria. Some scholarships out there may be open to students attending for-profit institutions, some may not. You'll have to look into the criteria for each of those scholarships that you're after. But to my knowledge, I don't know of a database like a Google of sorts where they list all of the scholarships for Native Americans that are for-profit schools. But yeah, you can click on that link that Daniel just dropped on the chat, and that will take you to the additional resources, to the additional scholarship resources that we know that are reputable that you should look into. All right, let's take a look here. So Rui, it sounds like you're asking if a specific graduate program is a dual degree. So I'm not sure. Degree programs are managed by the institution that is offering them. So if your question is if the BSEME degree at ASU is a dual degree because it's offered at ASU and at Caltech, dual degree means that you're getting 2 degrees when you're pursuing. At the time that you graduate, you end up with 2 degrees. That's what dual degree means. And I don't know. You would have to contact ASU to know that information. Take a look. Yeah. So yeah, you can be, if you are a student enrolled in a dual degree program, that makes you eligible. That's completely fine. So yeah, you can, but you would only be eligible for 1 scholarship, right? Even if you're pursuing a dual degree program, we are only going to award you 1 scholarship. That's a great question. Let's take a look. Tashina is asking, are 7.5-week online grad programs eligible to apply? 2 classes per semester. So for a graduate, if you're a graduate student, if you are enrolled in a master's program, full-time enrollment is considered 9 credits per term. And if you are enrolled in a PhD program, full-time enrollment is considered 6 credits per term. So I don't know exactly how that would translate to the online program that you are enrolled in or you're looking at, but that would be a good question to run by your program advisor to understand how many credit hours am I enrolled in every term. That's a great question. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's scroll up here back on the chat. Let's see if there's any other new questions. We're coming down to the wire here, guys. Any other questions for us today? This is your chance. One more time, the deadline to apply is next Tuesday, midnight Mountain Time. Be mindful that the college fund is going to be closed, so my team will not be available to help you with questions on Monday next week due to Memorial Day. And so if you have any questions and you want to contact us, email us tonight, tomorrow morning. We expect to be very, very busy on Tuesday. So if you send us an email and you're waiting for a response, and you email us over the weekend and you're waiting for a response by midnight Tuesday for you to decide if you're going to apply or not, you may not receive a response from us because we are expecting an influx of traffic in our email as we approach the deadline. So be mindful of that. So now is the time to get all those questions out there. All right, it looks like Ruth sent us a follow-up question. Any scholarships or not? So I think, Ruth, the way I'm understanding your question is that if you are a recipient of one of our scholarships, if that forces you to work with the donor or the company that funds your scholarship, or if it opens up the opportunity to work with that donor, one of those two. Okay, awesome. So great. So that's a great question. And the answer to that is no. There are scholarship opportunities that offer different engagement opportunities with different donors. But in general, the donor is just doing something philanthropic, and you do not have a post-award employment expectation, and you will not also receive an employment engagement offer after you've been awarded. But that's a really good question. Absolutely. We do offer career development opportunities out here at the College Fund. And so if you recall back to that slide where I had the resume step, so when you're completing the application, there is a section there that allows you to upload your resume or for you to provide a link to your LinkedIn profile. That section in the application is optional. And if you decide to forgo that information, it will not impact your chances of getting an award. However, if you do provide that information and you are awarded, you may be selected to participate in different career development engagement opportunities. So my recommendation is, if you have a resume, just throw it on there. Why not? If you already have it, that's a good idea. If you don't have it, you should have one. Even if you're in high school, it's just a matter of time before you need it. And if you are a high school student, even if you haven't had employment experience, there are other ways for you to stand out in a resume format. So you should contact your school's career center and they can help you with that. But be sure to provide a resume if you have it. All right, you guys, let's take a look. Anything else here? Oh my gosh, thank you, Anthony. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We will be super available tomorrow on emails. We'll be paying attention to that. So if you have any questions after this presentation, please do send us an email. We are here to support you. We are so excited that we get to learn more about who you are, your journey, your own story as you pursue higher education. We want to be here to support you through that journey. That's super meaningful and special, and I'm super stoked that you guys are going down that path. You're welcome. You're welcome. Daniel, any parting words of wisdom to our folks as they think about applying for next year?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for getting on this call this evening. And if you have any questions as you're completing your application, scholarships@collegefund.org is usually the best way to get, because our whole team kind of monitors that inbox. So that's usually the best way to get a hold of somebody with an answer. You can also give us a call. And we'll get you the answers to those questions so you can get your application in on time. That's it. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you all. Oh, Kari, good question. Can I take the picture for the application? Can we take it with the phone? Absolutely, yes. I mean, I don't know anybody that still has a camera. Daniel does because he's a photographer, but his camera is like one of those really fancy ones. But nobody that I know still has a camera.
Yeah, if you find yourself in Denver and you need a headshot, hit me up and we'll.
Yeah.
But otherwise, basically the main thing is we just want one that's like a dedicated shot of you. It's not like you and a bunch of friends. You're not like whatever. One that looks semi-professional. We usually say semi-professional. It doesn't have to be professional. I'm gonna hire somebody to do it. Get a friend. Don't even take a selfie. Get a friend to take a photo of you. If you're near a window, like face the light and kind of like just. Either wear like a professional or regalia or traditional clothing, whatever it is, so that you look your best. That's kind of really what we're looking for.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Look your best. Put on something that you're like, I am comfortable sharing this picture with the College Fund. Yeah, that's a great something from the waist up. No selfies, nothing like pointing the camera at you, but a phone picture is just fine. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. All right, thank you guys. All right, I'm going to give you one last chance to get a question out there. If you've got one lingering question, throw it in the chat right now. Go for it. Oh yeah, thank you, Ben. So it sounds like Ben is going to be sending a follow-up email to everybody that attended tonight. So yeah, thank you, Ben, for doing that.
I saw one last question. Marilyn asked, can you apply again if awarded once?
Oh, yes.
So Yeah, year after year, we do try to renew. There's never like a guarantee that you're going to be awarded from year to year. It depends on whether a donor decides to renew their award. But we do our best to award students year after year. So yes, you're definitely encouraged to apply. If you got a scholarship this year and you're still going to be enrolled the following year, definitely apply, because now you have a leg up in that process, right? So yeah, one scholarship per year, but then once you've kind of been awarded a scholarship, you have better opportunity, year after year.
That's right. That's right. So our scholarships don't renew automatically, and you do have to take action from year to year to renew your application. That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you all so much for spending this hour with us. We look forward to learning more about who you are and where you're going to school and why you want to go to school next year when we review your application here over the next coming weeks. One more time, if you have questions for us, email us at scholarships@collegefund.org. With that said, thank you one last time and be well. Have a good night, you all. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.